Earlier on the show for former England and West Ham United player Carlton Cole, he actually focused more on the recent issue of racism, and he's totally in support of the Black Lives Matter movement to eradicate racial discrimination, especially in the game.
I've had a few issues along the way online. When Twitter first came around, I had a few misdemeanors on there.
Yeah.
With some fans. But my first, I recall the first time I actually did get subjected to racism when I was over in Spain playing for England under 21s. When a banana got thrown on the pitch. But back then I wasn't really focused on the banana as such. I was focused on the game, and it didn't actually register until after the game that I was subjected to racism. And then after, when I was walking down the tunnel as well, had a lot of monkey chants directed at me and all the other black players that was on the field. But that was in Europe. But I always say that we need to keep our own house in order to progress first. So stop concentrating on other countries, and let's just look at ourselves first and see if we can eradicate it in our game, and then we can move further on to doing it across the world.
All right, Carlton Cole, former West Ham United player, speaking there. Now, South African sports broadcaster Karl Chabalala is actually happy the major leagues are finally coming back.
My last live match that I actually attended in the UK was on the 11th of March.
Oh.
So exactly 3 months ago, and there was a Champions League game, the second league, the second round, the second leg game, of course, between Liverpool FC as well as Atletico Madrid. And at that stage, I mean, obviously we'd heard about the outbreak, COVID-19, there were murmurs here and there, but we actually had no idea just what an impact it would have in the world of sports. It seemed like such a foreign concept, and it seemed as if this would be a pandemic that we would be able to get under control. I was at that game. It was completely sold out, as are most of the games in the UK. We celebrated, we hugged, all of us fans together as a family. And literally the very next day, the UK recorded its first 2 COVID-19 deaths. 2 days later, all of the matches that were scheduled for the weekend were called off. I flew back to South Africa. We had matches for another week and a half. And when I came back to South Africa, I thought, well, maybe this is something that's going to affect more than anything Europe, because we started hearing about leagues, of course, in Spain, in Italy, in France, also having to be halted and a decision needing to be made there and games being called off.
All right, so PM Express happened yesterday. We can, go to our various social media platforms to check. If you missed that program, the video is there. When you go on myjoyonline.com/sports, you can watch that program.